Hey Scott, I got some pretty good stuff on the store for today. I'd like to thank Steve for taking the time to help me out here today since Jamie's gone. Thank you,
Sure.
Steve. Yeah.
Happy to help.
All
I'm
right.
here.
All right. All right. And thanks everyone, guys, for, like I always say, taking time out of your day to come in here and watch the video, the webinar, I should say, as I see many of you and the other ones as well. So it's guys and gals like you that succeed in trading. You're always trying to better yourself as a trader. And yeah, just thank you for letting us take the time to help you as much as we can. So let's get started, and before we do, let's go over the little legal issue disclaimer that we always go over. Once again, guys, this is for educational purposes only. Nothing you see and hear should be construed as investment advice, okay? We are not licensed. If you are seeking that type of advice, you want to seek out a licensed person, which is usually an RIA or a registered broker. But we are going to have some fun and show you some really cool stuff. Let's just dive into the support, education, and training. You regulars bear with me, but we do have new people in here all the time, and I want to let them know that when they when you get the software, it may seem a little bit daunting at first, but oh man, we back it up with so much support, education, and training here. We have basically 4 webinars a week, Monday through Thursday, all in the 5 o'clock Eastern time zone. And then on Friday, we have a 3-hour support session. As a matter of fact, I got a guy coming in and kind of wigging out a little bit and had these issues. And I said, listen, don't worry about it. Come in our support session tomorrow, and we'll get you all straightened out. So that's what that's for. It's for a place for you to come, hang out. It's the same format as this. You see our desktop, but you ask a question, and it's totally a Q&A where we don't have an agenda like we do in here right now. So, and don't forget about the traders room. That's pretty much daily for 7 hours. Opens up about 30 minutes before the bell rings in the morning. Barry Anderson does an incredible job of moderating that room, keeping it tactful and not letting anybody get out of hand. He's a great trader, and you get to look over his shoulder while he navigates the market using our software. So great hangout for new, experienced, whatever classification you fall in as a trader. And last but not least, guys, when you sign up for Trade Ideas, you get what's called a 101 hour of power training. All right, this is with myself, Steve, Jamie, or Sean. All professional traders, all been using the software, for a long time, and know it like the back of our hands. So it's an incredible hour, guys. You get to spend it just with just you and one of us, and we can, if you know the software pretty good, we can talk about trading strategies. Just a great hour spent in helping you become a better trader. And for you advanced traders out there, Brokerage Plus, we've been talking about this for a while as being in beta phase. I'm not making any ETA on this, but this could be coming out of beta pretty soon here. Once again, it's for advanced traders. It's a way for you to, if you have strategies that work really well for you, you can automate those strategies via our Brokerage Plus module, attach it to IB, Interactive Brokers, and you can go play golf if you like while your Brokerage Plus fires off trades for you. If you want more information on that, go to trade-ideas.com/beta. Let's take a look at the agenda for today. We're going to have the market recap, and I know we keep saying broken record, but man, this is just crazy. Who knows when it's going to stop? And then we're going to talk about the Holly recap. Then I'm going to jump into New Year's same patience theme. And what I mean by that, guys, I talked a lot about my extreme volume high-low pro, which I know a lot of you guys have and you like it. And I'm going to show you another example starting off the new year with my first webinar here, showing you examples today of stocks, of you being patient, waiting for the first 30 minutes, and finding some really a lot of opportunity. And I'm also going to talk about the resistance line. I've been showing a lot of the new traders that resistance line that we now have in our technology. It's the red line. I'm going to be talking about that as well. Sector layout. I think you're going to like this. We have a spider sector layout in our channel that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. Well, recently I've kind of taken that one step further for a money manager and created him a default sector layout. We added some more kind of wrinkles to it. Well, I'm going to show you that today, guys, and also let you have access to it. I will share that with you so you can have that same layout. And then this sneaky option volume. This is actually an A window that was written by Michael Noss and are constructed by Michael Noss, also known as Bonpara. I know I went over this maybe a couple of months ago, but I'm going to let you guys know to keep an eye on this one. Okay, there's some good stuff in there. So we'll go over a few trades that came through there the last couple of days, and I think if it's not part of your quiver already, you might want to give it a second look. All right, with all that said, let me back out here and pull up the spiders chart. Steve, if you have anything you want to add, don't hesitate to interrupt.
Oh, I will.
Okay. All right, so let me just grab this corner here, bring this down, and let's put up our handy dandy spiders. And, you know, guys, I mean, I guarantee, well, first of all, I guarantee you there's no shorts in this market anymore. I mean, if you are, you're insane and or you're a masochist, but and yeah, so you know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is just crazy. It's only a few times in your lifetime do you see markets, you know, that just keep motoring like this and just keep going. It's out to set an all-time record for the longest bull market ever.
Central bank's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah, if anything can drag this market down, inflation. Inflation can bring any market down. I'm not saying there isn't any inflation out there, although sometimes I feel it in my pocketbook, but the experts will tell you that there's not. But none the same, guys. We are students of price action, and the price action is very, very bullish. You can see, you know, how far, you know, we are moving away from, although my moving averages are kind of. And if you guys been noticed that, trust me, I want you guys to know these averages, you see how they show up and then they get sawed off after about 10 seconds. They are working on this, just totally aware of it, and there they go. And trust me, that's their top priority right now, and they'll be getting that fixed soon. But nonetheless, I don't even have a 200, but here's the 50, the blue line, and you can see where it's going to be. Just if you can imagine how far we're above, you know, our 200. I don't have a 200 in here. But we are really, really, really overbought. Now, where it stops and turns, you know, I don't know. I feel like at some point, yeah, there's got to have to be a pretty decent pullback. But I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say about this market. We can talk about areas it may pull back to, but who knows? Who knows? It's just a very powerful, strong market, and the Qs are pretty much the same. The diamonds are pretty much the same. And IWM got out of the blocks today. Yay, the trade of the week. IWM had a very nice move today, and I'm sure Steve will talk a lot about this on our, nope, won't be next week, but the week after that, because
I'll just briefly mention, you know, Andy just showed you 3 extremely overbought charts. You know, I follow a lot of good traders on Twitter. One guy really uses the Bollinger Bands. He's like, man, I've never seen this, but I'm not going to fight it. Another guy uses RSI. Another guy uses stochastics, and they're all in agreement. We are so overbought. However, we'll let you in on a little market axiom. The market can remain overbought longer than you can remain solvent. So that's probably, you know, why Andy mentioned if you're still trying to short this market, you're a masochist. But the IWM call was consolidated price action there, cup and handle and a handle within a cup and a handle there. And All it needed was just the right time and the right moment. And, you know, I thought it might have been earlier in the market week, but it took until Thursday to get us up and above and through that line. So a good game of catch up is being played here in the Russell 2000, the small caps. And that's kind of how the markets work. When one index gets a little overbought and frothy, then the baton gets passed to something else that's not quite as overbought and frothy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of times what I will do, and actually what Steve and I would both do when we worked for or were lead traders at Ditto Trade, is we would never chase, you know, stocks and markets, you know, overbought and extended, but we would look a lot for laggers. And you know, this is obviously not a stock, but it's an index that was lagging, and not only was it lagging, it was setting up beautiful. So yeah, that very nice TOW. And a good start to the year. So, but really, guys, the only thing, that's the only thing concerns me, guys, about this. You know, it's like when everybody gets on one side, you know, a crowded trade, they say it. Well, because I can promise you, there's not there. You know, I don't even know if it's any more of the most hated market, you know, bull market ever, because now I think you don't have any shorts in the market, and it's so I think you do. You may have a lot on the sideline, but I just, you know, it's definitely crowded on one side because, you know, it's kind of like in a bear market, you know, when no one's buying and the price action is, you know, plummeting like it did in 2009. No buyers, no buyers. Well, eventually those buyers stepped in, and you had a, you know, whipsaw head snapping snapback. Well, the point I'm making is that can also happen in bull markets too, where you can get a sudden move down in price action like you're seeing right now. So if it's going to happen, I don't know, but just be aware. All right, that's enough of that. Strong market, period.
Strong market.
Strong market.
Path of least resistance is up.
That's right. Yeah, it definitely is up. So without going back to my cheat sheet, I believe I was going to talk about Holly next. Once again, Holly, not bad today, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because it was a gap up in the market, and we have talked over and over here how when the market gaps up, a lot of Holly's settings and parameters are based on daily, you know, daily. What are the characteristics, daily chart patterns, and then all of a sudden you get a gap up and it throws off a lot of Holly's strategies. And we did have a gap. Wasn't huge today, but it's still you know, a pretty decent gap up in the market. And I'm not trying to defend her. I don't think she really needs defending. She was up on risk on 63 cents. Nothing obviously to write home about. Didn't come to the table with that many strategies today. Only 6 strategy. You had 3 longs and 3 shorts.
And the shorts didn't fire. Oh, I'm sorry.
One did, and it she got out for reduced risk. 5 timed exits. That means everything was pretty much working good, and then they just ran out of time. You got to remember, each strategy is optimized based upon time of hold. In this case, you had 5 trades or 5 alerts that actually ran the full time before they exit. This is when we say, guys, if everything's working fine, like this CBay, where was what I thought was a great trade, and I'm going to show you later on that sneaky option volume, how this came out of the sneaky option volume yesterday. And I thought it was interesting that incredible alert picked it up, and the next day Holly traded it. That was just kind of, don't know if it was just coincidence or maybe they're both seeing something. But anyway, you can see the strategy was looking for a bounce. So what that means is the price action was kind of just chopping around, going sideways. It sold off, and Holly was saying that based upon this strategy that she is potentially seeing a bounce. So what happened is she got in, and then finally she ran out of time. Only had 8 cents in profit, but never, it doesn't matter. Holly exits when she is supposed to exit. But This is where we say you as a trader, man and machine, can say to yourself, you know, I'm not taking 8 cents out of this trade. I'm going to let it go. The market's working in my favor. This trade is working in my favor. And you could have held on. Once again, there was never any pain in this trade. It may be at the very first, maybe couple of cents when she first entered. But other than that, never went below the entry line, the trigger line. So a good example of, you know, risk on we talk about. The market's moving higher. Everything is setting up, and just because Holly runs exit based upon her optimized time stop, this is where the man takes over and says, hey, I'm seeing things that Holly may not be seeing. I'm going to ride this trade out and make another 30 cents.
Or press the heart button.
Yeah. What Steve is talking about is maybe I like this trade and
track it.
Yeah, saw it on another alert, and now Holly's calling it up. I'm going to set the old heart button and look at this trade right here. This setup doesn't look bad. I mean, you know, recently at a multi-month high, 3 classic days of pullback, and then a bar reversal. This has the potential to go to a new 52-week high, or let me see. Yeah, that would be a new 52-week high.
Correct.
And that's why we give you guys, remember, Holly strategies, even though she exits each day, a lot of her, because we give her a lot of these base strategies. Well, we give her all of her base strategies, and she just works magic with it. But these base strategies are many times based on daily chart setups. This is why we like to give these to you. Just like Tuesday, a couple of days ago, when Holly gave you Noah, and we said, hey, keep an eye on this. China's hot right now. This is breaking out of a nice little, you know, cupping pattern going back through highs. It's the right sector. And you had another, you know, couple of days of follow through on Noah. So once again, you see something that you like coming through Holly, the daily setup looks good, you know, add it to your like symbols. David, yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the wealth management.
I did not know that.
In the back office, yeah, I have to. I did a presentation, or we did a presentation for E-Trade yesterday, and then we were looking at my screen, so I had to go into another setting in the back to show the wealth management. So I don't have the like symbols in there. I'm sorry about that. But if I did, you would see a big heart right here, and what that would mean.
I can show my screen real quick if you want.
Yeah, well, go right ahead, Steve. Yeah, Steve will show his and show you what he's talking about.
Okay, so once you've put a heart in the symbol, I'll just go ahead and put a heart here in FB, Facebook, which I haven't been looking at, but for no particular reason. But maybe I want to keep an eye on this congestion if it does break out. You know, I've got 2 options. One, I can go in and I could right-click and I could create a price alert at that level and just let that price alert, which is now active, let me know. Or this is the channel bar that is not in Andy's current mix. It's on everybody else's channel bar. It's the My Like symbols. And what it's basically doing is taking all of the symbols that I have pressed a heart that I liked at one point in time and drop them into a couple of windows. So this particular window, I can sort today and see maybe if any of these are popping up on, you know, change from the close, or maybe if they're doing some really good relative volume. I can kind of just keep track of all the symbols in the past week or 2 that I have put a heart on, and they'll be in here. Now, everything, this is basically the entire list of my liked symbols. If we go and take a look at the symbol list, it's my liked, and so the machine, the program is doing that for us automatically. If I want to remove something, like if I'm no longer interested in this K, which I'm not, I'm just going to unheart it and turn off the symbol, and it has been removed from the symbol list. And that's another way in which we can just kind of keep an eye on things and check in to see what's going on here. Any of these things that I've recently liked showing me anything, and it's just an easy way to go back and keep track of some of the things that have caught my attention in the past. So hopefully that made sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Yeah.
To you.
All righty. So that one, another good one I thought was this SPPI, and you had to sit through a little bit of pain, but this is also an example of, people say all the time, oh, I didn't catch that Holly, it was too fast, but this is a case where the stock was coming in. Holly bought it on the same strategy, looking for a bounce, and it just kept going lower immediately. So you could actually have maybe waited for it to cross back through the trigger line, or like I said, this is a case where you could have got a much better price than Holly. And once again, didn't get anywhere close to the stop. You did have to sit through, it looks like maybe 13, 14 cents of pain, but nowhere near the stop there, and then bounced and had a good, rest of the day. Kind of a messy daily here. This is not one I would really, mark up as far as keeping an eye on. There's nothing that jumps out at me at that. But as far as a, nice 54-cent profit on risk on. But other than that, a few flats, one power hour long that really didn't work, although it did bounce back. But not a whole lot of trades either. So gap, once again, still, the gap ups are a little bit trickier, I noticed, for Holly. I mean, Holly had a banner day yesterday, and the market, gapped down and pretty much just slumped around sideways, and Holly had a really good day. So you just never know, all right? But I have noticed there is a trend here on the gap up days. Holly doesn't seem to perform as well as she does on the other days. But overall, still a stellar record, 2 years running now for Holly, and outperforming the benchmark spiders by a long shot, and that's based on risk off. So like I said, I don't have to defend Holly. All right, let's see. I'm trying to look at some of these questions. I'm going to try to grab them. Let's see.
I got them.
Okay, thank you.
I'm working them.
Just let me know if I need to. All right, guys. All right, what I'm going to go into now is the extreme volume high-low pro, and I've already set this on history because what I want to do, guys, I want to. And I know the regulars in here have seen me go through this before, but I trust me, I think if more and more people would just focus, this is my favorite alert, and I think if more traders would just focus on one alert or two, three at the most, they'd be much better traders than trying to have up. I do one-on-ones. I pull somebody, will have 15 different windows up, and it just you can't follow that much, and it'll just confuse you. But here's an example, and another thing I'm always trying to preach to people is do not feel like you have to come in and just all of a sudden start trading in the first 5-10 minutes, not even the first 20 or 30 minutes, and there's still plenty of opportunity. Okay, the market will always be there. So I'm just going to real quickly, I got several stocks I'm going to run through here that just came through my extreme volume high-low pro. And what we're going to do is we're just going to zoom right up to 30 minutes into the market. And the first one was just stellar. And if you are, if you're sitting around and you're stuck in some trade, look at this First Solar. And that was actually the first time it came through this alert, right at 9 o'clock. All right. Yes, this is a case, had you caught it early in the morning, you would have, everything would have been fine. But I can tell you, guys, 8 out of 10 times when you get this kind of price action in the early morning, especially if it's not breaking out like this one, this was just a beautiful breakout. And if there is ever a time where I will kind of bend the rules a little bit is when you have a breakout, just a textbook breakout on volume, like in First Solar this morning. But even if you do adhere to the rules, I mean, you're going to be fine because you got this alert at 74.25. Let's look where it closed today. Basically a whole another $2 higher. Okay, and I just a classic example of where you can be patient and you can sit there and just wait for your alert to go off, and still, you did have the resistance going back over here, but basically it was all the way through that. And I am not sure where this red line's coming from. This wasn't there this morning because it probably, I'll have to go back and check that. I'm not seeing that wasn't not there this morning. But even if it was, I mean, it ran right into that resistance line, and then the alert, you got the alert at 74.25, so now, you're backing through the resistance. But anyway, your classic, just small, very small gap too, and go. CMCM. Okay, this is an example of, guys, where this red line is showing you the resistance. And what I like telling people, if you're only looking at 3 or 4 months worth of data, and you're on your regular charts and you don't have trade idea charts up, you're not seeing this, okay? This can go back up to 2 years and find you resistance. As a matter of fact, I'd have to zoom my thing out to see how far back it's going. It's letting you know that there is resistance above. And I can't tell you how powerful that is, because this is a case where it did pop right through. And really, it's okay to take a chance on this. I don't want people to think that just because there's a red line there, that you can't trade it. But what you want to do in a situation like this is, if you do trade it, in other words, if it is breaking out up through this resistance line, that's fine. It might keep going. But what you want to do is that when it comes back down through that resistance, you just have to write it off. Because then it's getting into slop, it's getting in, it didn't hold the level it should have held if it was as strong as it was in the morning. So let me look for a few more examples. SN. Once again, this is a great example of our, yep, look at that, just nailed it almost to the T. All right. A tricky way to play this, because we talk about this a lot, is not only will this red line keep you out of trades. In other words, if you see it coming through an alert right around here, you're like, whoa, I know there's resistance here because Trade Ideas technology is telling me so. I'm going to stay away from this. But let's say you did see it right here. A lot of times you hear us talk about how trades have a tendency to fulfill their destiny, okay? So if you look over here and you're looking left and you do not see any resistance, a lot of times it kind of will fulfill its destiny and give you an idea where the trade may go into. So if you really want to be an aggressive trader, maybe you could take this trade and ride it up into the resistance line. So I am not, advocating that, but I have traded like that. So because I know stocks have a tendency to fulfill their destiny. Let's look at it. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, after you do the last one, you've already got about 3 requests for the extreme volume high low pro.
Okay. Yes, I will definitely give it to you for sure.
4. Make that 4.
Okay. As soon as we finish up here. Another great example, CRC took off this morning, volume coming in, and yet, it got right up here, poked through it, and then came right back down. And like I said, if it's not going to hold that resistance, it's going to get sloppy, and you can see this failed later in the day. It's okay to take that chance, but I do not like it, see it coming back down through it, because then, I'd rather see it do what First Solar did and just bust through and just keep going. This is a great example of no red line, no resistance. You can see this went off this morning, okay? You don't see any red line, and look at that beautiful follow through all morning long, okay? So that's an example. That's what the kind of stuff you want to look for, Give me this over this any day, where I know there's resistance here. In this case, no resistance and beautiful follow through.
Look at that line before it disappears, that 10-period moving average, just riding that moving average and then sideways and then a pop. That's what Steve likes to look for. I'm talking about myself in the third person. I'm gonna audibly answer the same question. A couple of people have said, how do I get the red line to show up? Well, 1, it's got to be a new high alert, and 2, you have to click the symbol inside the alert window for the red line to draw. Hopefully that makes sense.
You have to be using a new high or a new high filtered, either one of those, and you will get it.
Yeah.
E-Link, once again, ran right into its red line, tried to push through, but it got sloppy really, really fast. So I think you're kind of getting the gist of it.
KBH was a nice one.
KBH, look at that. What do you not see here? No red line, okay? This is on multi-year highs.
See 21% short the float too.
Yep. Yeah, big short float. What Steve's talking about here is on a single stock window. You can see the short float, almost 22%. But once again, been the gap up. That was a big gap up. They have earnings or something? Yeah, they did. Okay, that was an earnings play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, earnings play. That is your classic gap and go on huge volume. So one other time where I might be a little more aggressive, it's earnings, and you got the gap and go possible scenario. Yep, there's C's. Once again, if you want to give it a shot, it did break through. Okay, that's okay. You've had a little alpha here from 14.90 all the way up to 15.20. So you had about 30 cents in there, but once it starts to fail and come back through the resistance, and then it's getting sloppy again, whether it wants to hold it or not. So like I said, there's nothing wrong, and you know what? I had a lot more, written down, but let me just kind of
go ahead and share that one before we forget.
I will. I certainly will.
So I'll tell everybody what you're going to want to do, guys, is on the GoTo webinar floating toolbar, where the questions is and all that. There's one called chat. So you just want to click the little triangle next to the word chat, and that'll open up the chat window. And Andy will copy and paste and drop the cloud link into that chat window. For anybody that's watching this later this evening or tomorrow on replay, you can feel free to email info@trade-ideas.com and request the cloud link through email. But for those of you who are live, I see it in the chat window right now, so it's available.
Exactly. And you know what? I've had several more looking down here, but there's only one that I wanted to show you because this is textbook of when to stay away. And let me see, I had the time written down at 10:45. 10:45 there. It disappeared on me. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is, but oh, there's the price is 10:45. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, classic example. Here's one gap up. It's already kind of had a huge move, bouncing with oil. Oil has been on a tear lately, and this is kind of I believe it's a sands play. I can't remember, but anyway, look at that. Just textbook went right up there. Boing, kisses the resistance line. You go back into our database here, and you go all the way back to June. It's going back and finding the resistance in June. So even once again, guys, a lot of people don't like to only like to look at like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months worth of data. That's fine, because our technology will show you if the resistance goes back later, and then you can just kind of zoom back and take a look at it. But I'm loving this, and I know it's helping a lot of new traders that really don't understand, support and resistance, basic candlestick charting techniques, and this can really help you.
Did you change anything on that extreme volume settings in the last couple of weeks? All right,
no, I haven't. No, it's been standard. It's pretty standard. It is a multi-strategy, guys. I'm not going to go into the configuration. You can take a look at it yourself, but it's basically just a high volume alert set with a couple of position and range filters where I'm looking for it to be out of its 10-day range, and not only that, it's got to be close to being out of a 20-day range. I notice a lot of people use volume filters, and the problem when you do not use some sort of filter to show you that, or to ensure that the stock is breaking out of a range, you end up getting too many symbols that are in what I call no man's land. They're right in the middle of a 5-day sloppy range or a 10-day sloppy range. And just adding a simple position and range filter can, ensure that you're getting the right stuff. Okay, you're not chasing stocks in no man's land. But all right, I better move on to the next topic because I may have to spend a little bit of time on it. So what we got here is we have a Spiders sector ETF. This is one of our channels. Okay, and what you have in here is a typical 5-minute chart. You have leading indicators. That's just basically the stuff we go over in the market analysis at the first, the IWM, Spiders, Qs, and everything else. And you have spider sectors. okay, and then some other subsectors, like financials, technology, consumer staples, and but what I was doing a presentation for a money manager recently, and he wanted something a lot more sophisticated, with more tools, and he really liked uh, my SMA tracker. I showed him my SMA tracker, and he said, "I love that." And he wanted me to. He said, "Can you take your sector analysis and add those SMA trackers to the sector analysis?" And I said, "Sure, I can." So what I did is I created for him a new sector, basically a spider sector layout. Let me just pull that up and show you what it looks like. And what I'm doing here is I'm not going to the channels anymore. I'm going to go to my own server and load a layout from my server, because you cannot alter our channels. In other words, I can't make changes in here and save it under the spider sector channel. I have to do that on my own server. So I'm going to go in here and click on sector layout. All right, so this is not the exact one I gave to him, and the reason I did it, I put some things in here. I put some subsectors in here that I think you guys may be more interested in, like China, tech titans, blockchain, infrastructure. I added that one because that's kind of on the watch list of late, with the ones that have been moving lately. But the sector analysis over here, this one over here, is basically your major indexes, your airline, natural gas, a few different than the ETFs that we have over here. You're gonna find some that kind of cross over each other and are kind of duplicates. But for the most part, this is the same one that's in your spider sector ETF. It's the same one. But what I've done is gone one step further and took my sector analysis, and I probably should have renamed. I probably shouldn't have renamed one of these because they're both the same. I just noticed that. Once you can do that. So guys, this is the one that's on our PDF that we share with you. Okay, so if anybody needs the symbol list, okay, just send me an email to, just send it to info@trade-ideas.com and say you want a copy of the cloud links. And Scott will go over that email with you when we're finished here. Because I really don't want to take the time to drop all these symbols down in our chat and let you copy it. That takes a lot of time to do all that. So send an email if you don't already have them, and we will send you a list of all these sectors. Okay. So what I've done, guys, you remember my SMA tracker? If you haven't, basically what this is, okay, each column, these are just columns that I'm using, okay? There's no filters in here. And what it's going to do, it's going to show you the percentage the stock is away from each SMA. So, looking at this top one, this UNG right now, for example, okay, I color coded this so anything that's negative is going to be red. Makes it very simple to read. So by looking at this UNG that, man, this thing is almost 8% below its 200-day moving average, but it's starting to bounce. So you can real easy get a picture in your head, and you can see there the thing is starting to bounce. It's above its 8 period, 20 period, and 50 period. Maybe it wants to make an attack on the 200 period coming up. This can be a handy dandy little tool for you doing your homework at night. So if you want to sort by anything you want to, let's say you want to see which sector is the strongest, over the last 200 days. So how about going change from 200-day moving average and look at the oil sector. Look at that oil sector, man. That's strong. Mm-hmm. Solar's had a very strong day today. Now they're up in the last 200 days, making a move. Steve and I, we've been talking about the steel sector. Okay, look at the steel sector lately. They're getting a little bit extended above their 200-day moving average. Well, maybe, of course, VIX is down there, poor thing. Bonds, you can see the ones. sort by, 8-period moving average. Which ones had the strongest move over the, last few days? I think that's probably what we have. No, it's sorted right now. It's sorted right now from change from the close. That's right, as a default. But anyway, it can be very powerful. You can sort by anything you want to and get an idea. And I'm telling you guys, once you really get a feel of reading these charts, you won't even have to look at a chart, because this will kind of give you an idea of where it is on a chart just by looking at how far it's away from each moving average. So anyway, this is defaulted once again, change from the close. And, I think this is kind of going making the extra yard and giving you some more information. So not only are you just getting change from the close, change from the open, and position in your range, you're getting a good idea of, maybe you want to see what sector may be sitting on its 200-day moving average or close to it. What I would do would be sort by 200-day moving to 20-day moving average. I'm sorry, and look here, SMHs are getting pretty close. And not only that, I can see they're right on their right above their 8-period moving average. So pull up the SMAs, and you can see they're pulling back, but they're holding their 8 and their 20-period moving average. Maybe something to keep an eye on. So you can glean a lot from this. All right. Not only will it kind of maybe show you when things are getting a little overbought or oversold, but may show you levels of opportunity just by looking at where they're sitting at on the averages.
You talk about, I'm sorry, I was busy answering questions, but a lot of times I like to look to see, find stuff that has the stacked moving averages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see if I didn't do that, but let's take a look. K-Web doesn't look too bad here.
Pretty stacked nicely, yeah.
Let me pull out the daily chart more so we can see more.
So what I'm saying is, guys, is the fast 8 period is above the 20 period, and the 20 period is above the 50 period.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, these are charts that were already in the layout, so I don't have my
you don't have your regular settings.
Yeah, I don't have my regular settings in here. But trust me,
when the columns tell the story.
Right there, you see them spread out. You can see it's only 2 above the 8 period, 6 above the 20, 50. So you can kind of see the fanning in the values. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This one may be another one. Oil sector is obviously doing very strong, and it's fanning obviously. But maybe if there's something that you look for a pullback, maybe to the 8. If it's going to remain strong like that, I don't know what they have in here. They have an EMA and an SMA. I'm not going to go and play around with it, man. We'll do that for another webinar. Okay, but I wanted to show you also down here in the taskbar. Okay, I have other ones. So in other words, Tech Titans, China, infrastructure, blockchain. But let's say you want to see securities and other financial instruments. You can just pop them up. Go down to your taskbar, mining, oil and gas. Pop it up there. There you have it. So you can choose which ones you want to use on top. And guys, this may not work for you. All right. You can always come in here and create your own watch list, create your own symbol list, and your own basically subsectors. You can do whatever you want with this. Okay. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to see, I got air transports in here, so maybe your thing's the airlines. Or, if you pull it up and you see one of these sectors that you have in the taskbar are strong for the day, go down and pull it up. It's going to be, I'm going to have 4 other ones, I think, down here and here. Healthcare is going to be in there. So maybe you can keep an eye. Because what you want to do, guys, unless you're just trading just low floaters and that's your game, you want to jump in, ride it for, 30 seconds and jump out. But what this could do for you guys, if you just, I'm going to share this with you, and you can just kind of save this in your cloud or save it into your as a default not a default layout, but a layout on your server. The way I would treat this is maybe when you're spending that time in the morning, 30 minutes, and you're watching, stocks come through, maybe about every 15 minutes, just pull this up. It won't take you but maybe 2 minutes of just observation, and you'll get a feel of where the money's going. You'd get a feel, that money's flowing into oil, into steel stocks. You'll get a feel of what's hot in China, what stocks are doing well in China, what tech titans are on the move. DDD had a pretty decent, day to day, just a nice slope. And so it's just, endless amounts of information, and it's always wise, guys, to kind of know where the money's flowing. Unless, like I said, you're trading a bunch of, small, low float stocks, if that's your thing. There's nothing wrong with that, whatever makes you money. But this is something that I know myself and Steve did a lot, when we always knew, the sectors and where they were and where the money was going. Especially because when we were working as Ditto Trade, because we had to be careful playing, we didn't play those $2 stock, low floater stocks. We had to be real careful about what we were jumping into. All right, so any questions on this? I will share it with you. Okay. Can you please repeat how you can figure out where? Well, yes. Well, what you want to do is let me do change from close again. All right. So let me go by. This is a top list, and let me put the time frame on here. What I'm doing now is going back in time to, let's say 20 minutes after the market opened this morning. That was going to be 8:50 my time because I'm on Central Time. All right, this is what this board looked like at 20 minutes after the bell rang this morning. All right, so if I pull this up, I know that UNG, for some reason, natural gas is very strong. It's not something I play, although there's some stocks that you can find in the natural gas arena, and that's what Steve and I, we would always know the 4 or 5 top stocks in each sector. All right, so we know if OIHs were strong. We know to take a look at Halliburton, to take a look at Rig, to take a look at there's a couple of others, but we knew the stocks to play and look for. All right, so what this is going to do when you take a look at this, Suresh, it's going to let you know, hey, this is where money is flowing. These are the strongest stocks up from the close, all right? And you can also take a look at the, change from the open, but, change from close is probably a better gauge. So maybe if you're looking to play China stocks, you came into the market thinking, oh, this China is setting up good, had a little pullback today, I'm going to buy some China stocks. Well, you pull this up 20 minutes into the bell and you're thinking, whoa, this thing is kind of flat on the day. There's nothing really going on. Maybe today's not the day, I want to be jumping in, Baba. Maybe today's not the day I want to be jumping in, Baidu. So it just gives you an idea of where you can go, in the, and trust me, if you're a new trader, this is going to take time, okay? It's going to take time to learn the sectors and when stocks are in the sectors. And like I said, it may not be your gig, but I think over time it's wise, no matter what you're trading, to kind of learn to study markets and sectors to know where the money's flowing. Is there a section for shorting stocks? Not in here. No, this is not. Obviously you can look at it that way. You can look at maybe weak sectors and if the market's, you get a down day, maybe pull this up and you can short it by change from close the other way, and maybe you would want to look at which sectors are the weakest to short there, Nancy. So this can be used to find weak stocks and weak sectors. But the key is what you want to do is create symbol list subsets. So like this China, change from close. Okay, I look at all these. I know these stocks are weak now, because I just sorted it from change to close, and there's Nettie's opened up and was weak all day. Okay, I could know that just by one click of the button without having to go through and look at all the China stocks. So yeah, this can be very powerful if you're looking for stocks to short as well. So you just learn how to navigate through by using the change from close, and even Tech Titans. Let's look at the change from close. Let's find out which ones. Oh, look at SAP. Had a bad day today. Gap down, kind of slowly bled all day. So yes, you can use this to find the weak sectors as well, or weak stocks. I'm sorry. That's what's great about our technology. You can sort by any column you want to. Put it back. Okay, you can find the strong ones. All right. So what I'm going to do here is. What I did, Suresh, is I just took what was on the sector, the spider sector, and I created this for myself and to share with you guys. Now, you will have access to these stocks because they are in our pre-configured settings. So if you go into our configuration and you look at symbol list and add existing lists, you will see all the ones we have in here pre-configured for you. Okay, so this is good for you because now you're not going to have to go look up all these stocks. But if you want to move into a sector, let's say create your own. Maybe there's some China stocks in here that you feel are left out. Maybe you can always go in and create your own symbol list as well. So. All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, is go ahead and share this with you. And the way you do this, the way you share a whole layout is, let me make sure everything is set up again. Okay, there we go. There we go, and change from close, there we go. All right, so I think it's right now. So what I'm going to do is go File, and the way you share a whole layout with somebody or save it, you go to File, Save or Share to Cloud, and then I got to click on Entire Layout. Okay, and watch, everything will be checked on here once I do that. Boom, checks everything for you. I'm going to go in here and call this Sector Layout. If I know how to spell sector. Layout, it's always good to learn to throw a date in there. So if you do come, after you take this one, maybe later on, 2 or 3 months, you change some settings in here, some configurations, you can go in and save it under a different date. Okay, I'm going to click on Save and Share. It's going to save a copy to my cloud, and it's also going to enable me to share it with you. All right, copy all. And now I'm going to drop it into the chat window again and call it Sector Layout. And there you go.
I see it.
All right, so you see it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to save that next. I didn't know if I was going to have enough time to get in the sneaky option volume. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop it in there for you guys, but I'm not going to talk about it today. Okay, you guys can take a look at it. And I'm going to share it with you.
Well, he's doing it. I'll give you kind of a breakdown. It's basically looking for stocks that aren't doing a lot of stock trading volume in the common shares per se, but it's focused on the options market. And somebody may know something, or an institution may be coming in and establishing a big position, but the idea is we're looking for stocks that we're calling it sneaky option buying because there's not a lot of volume in the stock common, but there's a heck of a lot of activity in the back options pits. And a lot of times these can be signals for stuff that might want to run in the next few days. So when we talk about harding stocks and charts and keeping an eye on a watch list, the one that he just dropped in there, we can talk more about it in the next webinar. But the idea is to keep an eye on those charts because somebody is accumulating a big options position.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, take a look at the ones that came through today. You had some nice movement after the alert went off. So yeah, something you want to keep an eye on. Now, this is more of a swing trading alert. That doesn't mean you can't take it and do some day trading with it, but it is more for like a 2 or 3 day hold. So But anyway, guys, yeah, to take a look at that. I know some of you guys already had that because I shared that about a month ago, but maybe 6 weeks. But all right. Well, I tell you what, guys, we're out of time, and I didn't really have a whole lot left on the agenda, and we'll make sure next time we get some chart requests in here. But for now, I'm going to bring Scott back in. You guys hang on. I think he's going to offer you guys a discount here. Let me pull up.
Yeah, we've got a couple items. First, we have a podcast, and we're starting our first episode of 2018 tomorrow. We had a great season last year. I think it was 43 episodes or something like that. And we're looking to have at least that many this year. That's weekly. We don't take very many off, so we should be releasing them pretty much every week. And tomorrow's the first one of this year. So make sure that you're signed up. Just search for Trade Ideas Podcast in any app that you use to listen to podcasts in, and it'll turn up. Just subscribe to it. You'll get the new episode. And you can go ahead and check out the last couple of episodes of last year. They were really good, too. There's some good hot Bitcoin talk right before the break. Also, a big item coming up next month. We are having a price increase right on February 15th that week. It's going up about 20% across the board. The good news is if you're already a subscriber, have an active subscription, your rate will remain unchanged as long as you maintain your subscription. So basically, you're grandfathered in at the current rates. If you subscribe before that happens, that's why we're giving you a heads up. It's a really good time to lock in these rates before they increase because of the added features. We've been improving Trade Ideas constantly, and we're at a point where it has increased its value, and it's time to do that. So, we have that slide right there with the new prices, and you can see it would behoove you to go ahead and take advantage of a discount and the 2017 rates before the 2018 rates go into effect. Just a heads up, And going along with that, we have a 15% code for you today. So if you would like to get started with Trade Ideas, Alpha Flow, all caps, just like you see it on the screen, or if you download the attachment, go to the handouts panel on your GoToWebinar interface, expand it, and there's a blue link there for you to download a PDF. It's got some of the slides here from the presentation, includes the slide that has the discount code and the new price change information. So you can download that and kind of look at it offline after the meeting here. But this code's good this month. Save you 15% off the first installment for your first month or year. So the best value on this would be to lock in the $18.88 per year premium membership using the 15% discount. So then you get that $18.88 discounted to about $1,600 for the first year, and then you renew at $18.88 locked in like that forever as long as you maintain it. Whereas it's going up to over, I think, $22.69 per year afterwards. But you can get grandfathered in at the current rate, which is a killer deal. So do that. Thanks, everyone, for attending. If you have any questions, email us, info@trade-ideas.com. That's the place to send most of the inquiries. You can reach out to Andy directly, Andy @ or Steve is Steve @ follow Steve on Twitter @TodayTrader. The absent Jamie Hodge is QuantBot on Twitter, and also find us on Facebook. Do all of that, and keep an eye out for the replay of the webinar tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Steve.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Later on.
Thanks for the comments. Appreciate the comments. Thank you.
See you tomorrow in the support session.
Yep.
All right.